All right. Good morning once again. Welcome to Digital Z Hub. Okay, so I think what we did last time was to just run through some of the basic and intermediate SQL keywords that we need to know before we can actually go into the advanced, which happen to be the last aspect of this SQL training for data analysis. So I would then assume that by now we are familiar with those big six keywords. Remember now, like I have on the screen, I think this was the last script we implemented. Now we understand where to use where to use order by, where to use limits, where to use from. At least we are familiar with almost, let's say, 80 to 90% of SQL basic keywords. So in this session, we are focusing on how to work with multiple tables. So all the analysis we have been performing are actually limited to one data table. So it is when you want to start working with or selecting data from two or more tables, joining data from two or more tables. That is where the advanced aspect of SQL comes in. And that is what I want to focus on in this section. Now, let's start by using a new, let me create a new query tab. Right. So, as usual, let's use the database, and we are still using that database that have the data structure that I sent to you, which is Marvel Advanced underscore SQL. So let's start by using a database. And we are using the keyword use to select the database we want to use, which is Marvel underscore advanced underscore SQL. Right, so you can see the database selected, which indicates that right now we are using that particular database. So I'll be using comment to highlight, and for us to move fast, sometime I will just dictate because I really want us to complete what we need to know. And then after this section, every other thing you can build on it on your own. So like I said, the topic for this section is working with multiple tables. So working with multiple tables. That is our focus, working with multiple tables. So there are two ways. There are two ways to combine multiple tables in a single table for analysis. Now, we are looking at this from the perspective of data analysis, so we need to correspond our statements. Now, we are talking about you have a table with certain data and you have another table. Let's say you have table A, you have table B, and you want to join or you want to union So this is where those keywords which are classified under advanced SQL comes in. You want to join or you want to union these two tables together. And the criteria, that is why when you requested for it, I told you that the challenge we normally have teaching this topic is having the right data structure that can actually enable you to implement all these advanced keywords. So if you don't have a well-structured table, it becomes difficult for you to perform joining and what unioning the table. Now, the criteria is that the first table and the second table must have a common attribute. For example, you have a data set in one table that has an attribute called country. You have another one in another table that also has country. The country might be different, but at least we have common value and we have common fields. So if that situation is not met, you cannot join. So which means that you will only depend on the basic and the intermediate, where all our analysis were channeled to just one table. So I want you to get that. So the two ways we can combine table. Now we are looking at this from the analysis perspective. Now combining the table, there is a mission, there is a target, there's a reason why you want to combine the table. So as a data analyst, your reason could be that for your analysis, maybe you are given two different data sets and your analysis will not be complete until you lift some headers or some value from the other table to merge them together to become one table. So there are instances where that will occur as we practice this field of data analysis. A company can send you two different data in different table, and I expect you to do your manipulation, join them together before you can proceed with your analysis. So briefly, let's look at the explanation of this. Remember the two keywords we are using here. Let me put them in bracket. We are looking at what? Join and union. So whenever you are talking about combining two tables together, or analyzing data from two or more tables, you will definitely work with what? Join and what? Union. So just to expatiate, let's look at the individual meaning a little before we go for the practical. So what do we mean by join? So join keyword adds related column. It's used to add related column from a table, from one table to another. That is the function of the join keyword. So you will never see a data analyst using SQL involving join keyword until he or she wants to combine data from one table to another. I hope you are following, sir.
Yes.
All right. So based on a common column, that is a condition. It's not just adding. It's not just adding columns from one table to another. It is based on the common column, which I have already emphasized on before now. So there must be a common column. In our own case, we are going to call out two different tables, and we will confirm that this table has common what? Column, and that meets the criteria for joining them. So I just want to explain briefly first. Now let's look at, like I said, you take your time to go through the video and make your comprehensive notes. So if we look at union, let me just explain union a little so we know the scenario to use union instead of join. Union stacks the rows from multiple table. with the same column structure. Union stacks the rows from multiple tables with the same column structure. For example, let me try and do some illustration. Once you understand what I'm explaining now, by the time we get to the practical aspect and you start seeing the differences, it will properly register. So what we are saying is that this could be one of the data table. This is the second one. So when you join, maybe here, let me try and see if I can catch up with this illustration. Sorry, with my diagram. So let's assume we have these two data sets, and here could be probably ID, here could be customer name, here could be maybe country. So this is what I want to focus on. And then here could be another, could be ID, could be customer name, maybe here could be country. Two different data sets. We have country here, we have country here, we have country here, we have country here. Here in this other data table, we have country here, we have country here, we have country here. Now, if I join this table, the values of this, if I join this, I am going to have a single data structure that will come like this. I am going to have the country of this coming here. I will go to, and I'm going to have the country from this table maybe coming somewhere here. So at the end of the day, you will now find a way of what? Combining all the value in one column. But when you join, this is what you have. You have a single table selecting what? Two different, selecting all the country from the two table. Now that is join. Now when you union, this is where the stacking come from. When you union, all the values you have here will come under or on top of this. All of them will be in one column. That is stacking the row. That is the difference between. So depending on how you want to join, one is joining horizontally, one is joining what? Vertically. That is a simple word I can use. I hope you got that illustration, sir. I just want to give us a picture of it first before we get to the main implementation. All right, so I will expect that now we understand the difference between union and joining. Now, like I said, when you join, the two country will stay side by side, and when you union, the country value will be stacks. So
Sorry. I need clarification because I understand with a little knowledge that obviously it depends on the type of join you are talking here.
yeah,
I think it will be better when you take it one after the other so that I don't get confused because I know that you don't get the same result when you inner join or when you are doing full join or when you are
uh,
doing left join and all those
uh,
stuff.
bringing that in, you are giving me an impression you already know what I'm teaching you. So I will expect you to just calm down. I will get to all those places. I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to, when I get to the practical aspects, I will bring in those terms you are using. But I don't want to teach you with the impression that you already know it. So because when you bring that now, you're trying to fast track me. I'm trying to give you a picture. That will actually make my work easier. I can just go to the practical and start showing you the left, the right, the inner, and all of those things. But I'm taking it the way you should learn. I know the research you did, you may not get it properly, maybe sequence.
No, I
So,
understand it. I have been taught before. Do you understand? And that is
okay.
why I needed somebody to give me one. I've read a lot of things
Okay,
about
let me
it.
just go
And
straight to let me go straight to that
so
aspect. That's the case.
when I get something, that is why I'm asking.
Okay.
Because so that it doesn't, you know, distract what I already have in my memory. Because I know, of course, that when you are doing some type of joint, I mean, it take one from this one and add it to the other one. There is so when you so that's why I was thinking if we could just go to through that means. So but anyhow you want it is okay. But why am I bringing it out so that I don't have some bit of confusion.
Okay, no problem. Let me take you based on your request. There is no problem, so that you will not delete what you have learned. That is the point you are driving. So let me just call the data and then go straight to. You have a foundation already, so I shouldn't use this method. Let me give you the method you are requesting for. So let's just select. Remember that we have already so let's select some of the table. I think we have the happiness table the other time. We have I think, yeah, we have happiness table from the last analysis. From this table, we have happiness. I hope I'm supposed to display the table so that we will know their name, but I'm very sure that we have happiness score in this data. I think we have it. Let me see if I'm going to get a value. All right, so we have this table. So I'm going to be working with this table. Now, what I'm going to do here is that we have this table, and let us also confirm the presence of another table. Let's confirm the presence of another table. So we have, so that we know the two tables involved. So select from, we have, I think we have country. We have a country underscore stats. We have country on the select from. I think we have something like that. So let me just also confirm if we have this table. All right, so we have these two tables. Now we want to join. Under the types of join, we have uh we have uh we have inner join, and I'm going to start with the inner join. Now, if we want to join these two tables, that is using the inner join, let's get the output so that we can study the data together. So I am going to say, now that we have confirmed that we have them, let me see if I can temporarily comment this one out. Then write my code here. For proper formatting, let me put it this way. Okay, so let's say inner join the other table, which the one I country underscore starts. Now, you can see that when we selected because the best way you understand it is you understanding the headers involved in the first table and the headers involved in the second table, so that after your inner join, then you will now be able to know what really happened. Now, if you look at this data now, we have here, let's look at the common header here. We have year, we have country, we have region, we have score, we have the GDP per capita, we have the social support, we have the health healthy life, we have a freedom, we have country. So you can see we have country here, we have country here, and then we also have country here. So these two countries, if we are to call the data separately, let me bring out this. You see that this particular country, I think, is from the happiness score, while this other country is from the country underscore stats data set. So with this, what you have got now is a different table, and you have been able to what? To join the two together. That is what? The inner join. And now, let me get your response if you understand it to this level before I explain further. But there's another keyword I want to explain, I want to bring in here
Yes, yes,
to
please go
get
on.
it to
Well,
get it
sorry.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to ask because, of course, you will not be there when I'll be. So now I understand that for us to join, um, there must be a common column, you
Yes.
know, in the table. So now my question is, I just want to understand,
Okay. Okay.
why, what is, why am I joining? What can what will as a data analyst, what do I intend to derive from joining two
Joining the
tables?
data.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. That question is what I have already highlighted before we started the entire process. I told us that as data analysts, we don't just wake up and say we want to join data set. You must have seen that there is a value in two different tables that need to come together in one table so that you analyze at the end of the day the combined version. So there are many reasons. So you look at the data you are given, and sometimes when you look at the way they will tell you what to do on the given data, they can tell you that they can give you a data set that have certain years, maybe that have record for 2025, and a different data set has record of 2027, and they'll be telling you that you should analyze 2025 and what? 2027. And knowing fully well that these two values are not in one data. So you are going to join them together. But this particular journey we did now is joining without condition. But I just want us to know the standard syntax on how to join, irrespective of the order, because that is where condition comes in. We just join them together without defining a condition. But just to answer that your question, it depends on the task, because it will be spelled out in the description what you are expected to do with the data. So it's from there you will know, okay, maybe you are given different table. One of the value they are asking you to analyze, they are not in another, they are not in that in one of the table you are dealing with. So you will definitely join. You will join. So that is, so there are many reasons depending on what is in front of you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so now, like I said, what we did, we just learn a new keyword, which is inner, join, and inner. And what it did is to combine the two data sets together. So, like I said, the best thing you will have done before joining, so that when you have the combined version, you understand what is happening. You call the two tables separately and observe the features in them. So that as we have this combined one, you now know the ones that came from data A and the ones that came from data B. But this joining, like I said, this joining does not have a condition. And where you want to join with condition, then we are going to bring in another keyword, which is called what? On. So just know that there is a journey with a condition and there is a journey with condition. So if I want to join with the condition and using the keyword on, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say join, that is from happiness score data table. Join them using the inner join as a type, and then our country starts on happiness dot country. So which means that what at the end of the day you will have both the country in one column. So you are journey, you have defined the criteria for journey, and the criteria will be based on the country. So let's quickly look at if I want to do that. So from the outcome, we will understand it better. So like I said, this is joining two tables based on specified. Let's say you have specified condition. So I am going to say select just to format my code from happiness underscore score, then go to the next line, then specify your type of join, which is inner join. Then country, second data set, country underscore starts. I think this should be start. Right? Then you will now bring in the on. So I'll take this. So this is the line where you are defining the criteria for the joining. On dot the header that is going to act as the condition for the journey, you concatenate it with the first table. That is what you are referencing this particular field in the happiness table that is equals to the other table, which is country underscore starts. Then you also do dot country. So which means you are clearly defining the joining criteria, and then you end your code. So, but when you join like this, it's without what? Condition. So, but here now, this on keyword is the emphasis here. This is what is used to implement your criteria for the joining. So from this line now, I believe it's clear, because this says that from this table, this is the criteria column, country, and from this table, the same country, which means that what? This is where we said you must have a common field that you are going to use as the criteria for the journey. So if you look at this now, let's go through the data again. So you see that what you have here, I want us to trace it. Look at the country you have here, this particular Afghanistan, or that is Afghanistan something. Then let's trace it to the other country where you see that what is correspond. Now let's check this Albania. Let's trace it to the other country. You see that it align. Because if you do not specify this condition, the country may not be aligned. So that's why I told you that it depends on, so sometimes it's difficult for you to have a data structure that supports all this that we are learning. Because if you don't have a data that fall in place, and any company that will even tell you to even do all this, we ensure that they have a data set that is structured to support the way you use these keywords. Any question
Sorry.
on this?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Now for instance, now from happiness table.
Mm.
Okay. From happiness score table. You have just like you have explained now, we have country.
Yeah.
And on that country, we have Afghanistan, we have Albania, we have Algeria, and co. So now, then on country stats table. So
Yeah.
what if we don't have Albania on um country stat table? So what happened?
Yeah, that is exactly what I said. You can see that with that, the criteria is not met for applying it because definitely that is why we say that there must be common. That is where that common values and field comes in. The company knew very well that the two data sets has this uh, common country. If they don't have it, then you will not be able to join. That's exactly what we are saying. So it's not something that you will just wake up and say you want to join two tables. You need to check whether the criteria for implementing this are met. So it is very straightforward. It's very straightforward. So that is the one of the criteria that must be met. I hope it's clear, sir.
Yeah, it's clear, but
Confused.
I'm a little bit, yeah, because I just wanted, it's not as if I have a little knowledge, so I just wanted a consolidation.
Oh, yeah.
So because um I was made to understand that inner join will return rules that are the same in both columns.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So and um
Which is what we have got to
which
know.
is what we have gotten now.
Mm.
I don't know whether it is me that is confusing it, but I know
Okay.
that one
Mm.
of them. Okay. I think we can proceed.
Okay.
If I have more question, I will ask.
Maybe the process you get to know what you want to ask. Okay, so
Unless I say we can proceed, sir.
okay. So like you just explained now, that is what it is as far you are using the inner join. Because your question is on this particular one. So that's why I say once the criteria is not met, then on this very one, then you shift to probably the next possibility. So, but we still have something to do here. For example, now we have just joined two tables and the two tables has common value country, and we are able to select the row that correspond the value. Now, what about if to we want to what we want to achieve here now is from the two table, we just want to have one of the country, one of the country. So in other words, we are going to reduce the, will I say, the length of the data set. So let me write what we want to achieve. It might be a technique that will help you when you are working with data. So let's say um, we want to join two tables. You want to join two tables and select only some specific headers, only some specific headers from both tables. You see, what we did now, everything came out, all the headers in both tables. But here now, we are not concerned with, or we are more concerned with some specific column from the table, from the two of them, which is equivalent to, we learn something like this even when we're working with one table, where we pick out some columns only from the entire table. Now, just to give us a kind of concentration on some values. So now the syntax is going to be select. So once you select, remember that same basic logic, you have to mention those headers from each of the table. From each of the table, you mention the header that you want to pick. And to do that, I'm going to start by mentioning the first table, which is happiness. Happiness underscore score underscore scores. Okay. Then the way I am going to reference the column I want to pull from this table, I'll concatenate it and then I will say what? Year. So which means that from happiness table, I am taking what? Year. And then from the same happiness table, underscore scores, I am picking country, right? Then put a comma from the same happiness table, happiness underscore scores, I am picking. So once you are done with this, happiness underscore underscore. So there is a heading there which is called, the difference between this is that one is scores, that one is table, while happiness score, that one is a heading, so it doesn't confuse you. Then comma. Then I want to now start selecting from the other table. From the other table, I want to select, let me break it down so that I want to select from the country underscore start. I think that is the name of the table. Correct. Okay. The dots, I'm taking country. Then comma from the same data table, which is country underscore starts. I am picking continent. I'm picking continents. I think I'm done. Now, once you have done this, so this is the first selection. So the whole of this, just like what we did there, we are just picking the ones we want from each of the table. Now, the next thing is for us to specify from, because we want to join now, from the happiness table, from the happiness underscore scores table, I want to, we are bringing in the inner join again, inner join. So we are going to join, but based on only the headers that we specify. Inner join, country underscore starts on, as usual, on happiness. So here we are defining the criteria now on happiness. The criteria is still the same country, but the difference is that we are not going to get all the headers. Equals to from the other data set, which is country underscore starts. We want only country. We want to also join based on the country. So if I run this, you see that with this, I have been able to narrow it towards some specific columns. So just like what we learned over there, so we are joining, but at the same time, whatever it will return will be only the selected headers from these two data. So if you look at it, remember that we said that from the happiness table, we want to capture year, we want to capture country, and then we want to capture this. And then from the other table, we specify just to country and continent. Is it clear, sir?
Yes, yes.
So I want you have the same data. So just perform what I've done for the next 10 minutes. I'll check it. Just run this same code. You can run from here if you are familiar with the other one. Just run this last one. You can share your screen if you don't mind, but if you share your screen, set your
Scroll it up a little bit. Scroll it
upline,
up a little bit. Let me
upline,
see the line. No, let me see the
upline,
last.
the
No,
last
let me
line.
see the last query. Yeah, yeah, the last line.
Okay.
Okay, just
Okay. Let me see what you did. I will just unshare, just share. Let me just see it and then I move on. Okay, so okay, you did exactly what I did, right? You selected the same numbers of column. Okay, so I think that is good. So now another thing I want to show us is how, if you look at this particular data, we have the two countries selected. We have the two countries selected. We have this country. We have the country from happiness underscores table. We have country from country underscore stats also selected. So the next task is, so let's say we want to, we uh we want to remove, one of the country. Now, the end of it is that we just want to make our code look neater and more organized. So we discover, okay, there's a conflict. So we want to remove one of the countries. So what will be the syntax? So we say select. Remember that we have already selected. I think I can copy to avoid writing. I can copy this, the whole of this, and just do some adjustments instead of me writing. So which means that we are selecting the same data. We are going with the same selection of the headers, but this time around, we just want to drop a country. We just want to drop a country. So what we change here is coming. I'm trying to rectify something to see. All right, are you here, sir? I just have to sort out one of my queries in order to get. Are you here, sir? Oh, you are still here, sir.
Yeah,
Hello. Okay.
yes, yes, I'm
So,
here.
so what I said I want to do here is that I want to drop one of the country, because you look at this data now, we have the two country, and for one reason or the other, if you go through there, you see that they are the same. Just because we are trying to learn how to join our data based on the country. So we have two countries, so we just want to remove one. Now, and in SQL, you cannot bring in a drop here. You cannot bring in drop in this kind of frame. So what you do is from your syntax, you will just adjust. Remember that this was the code that gave us the two country. I think I copied it here. So I just want to modify this one to give us just one country. So for example, let's look at the code again. Happiness underscore score. We are picking here. Happiness underscore scores. We are picking country. And then we have happiness underscore scores. We are picking happiness underscore score. Now, country, country, country underscore stats table. We are selecting country, and then country underscore stats. We are selecting continent. Now, the country I want to remove is the country in this particular data table. So if I want to remove the country in this particular table, then I will not select this. But since it's this one I want to remove, so what I will do is that I will clear the whole of this place. I will clear the whole of this place. So this is how I'm going to have it, which means that as far this data table is concerned, you are not going to get the country. So we end up having just this country. That is the only place we are to adjust. So every other section will remain the same. So if I run it now, you see that we have been able to remove one country because they are the same. Did you understand this, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So now I want to show us a technique which sometimes we use. We use these techniques. Let's say you are writing this table name. You can see how long it is. Each time you have to rewrite it. Let's say I want to rename it automatically here. I want to represent it with an acronym. In SQL, it's possible just for us to understand the syntax, how it's done. So let me just tag it how to replace table name in SQL query statements. So for example, the same thing that we did now, I want to achieve it, but by substituting the acronym. So select, I will say anywhere you have happiness should be represented as what? HS, then dot year, then comma, then remember this is another happiness, HS dot country, comma, another HS dot the header there, which is happiness. I think underscore score, because this one is a header in the data set. So with this line, we have replaced the whole of this. So we are trying to shorten the code where you have this long description. That is what we are trying to achieve here. So if I go down for the country underscore stats data table, I will just use, let's say what, CS. Then remember that we have already reduced it, so we have already eliminated it, the country. So as even I want to bring in the country, I'll do dot country. But since we have removed it, let me just call the continent dot continent. And then, of course, the same code we are trying to repackage from happiness underscore score, which is now HS. See, I have to call it there because I'm using a different keyword, not under the same select, where I have abbreviated it. That's why I have to also acknowledge it for this particular from line. So I'll say inner as usual, join. I need to also re-acknowledge it for this from keyword. So I have to call the other the country underscore stats in full. Then I'll say it should recognize it as CS, as we have done for the for the select keyword. Then on, since we have acknowledged it here, so in the condition aspect, we can just say HS dot country equals to CS dot country. I just want us to understand this techniques. So if I run it, you see that we have the same thing. And this code is neater and shorter than the previous one. I hope that is understood, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so the only aspect you must, if you are bringing, like here now, select, we acknowledge it here, and you cannot assume that it will work when you get to from. That is why I have to call the full header so that this line of code, we know what I am abbreviating to this as well. So I want to give you 5 minutes to replicate the same thing, because after this now we are going to
Sorry.
type of, okay.
So, yeah, I understood what you did, but I wanted to ask a question. Because of course, from that select, the first line, yes.
Okay.
So I was wondering, the other rules are all understood. So I was wondering how SQL will immediately recognize that abbreviation. You have not assigned it. You have not assigned it before.
Yes. Is that the question?
Yes, because you have not, like all these ones now, from the second rule, yeah, is understandable. But this first one now, you've not assigned it. You have not assigned HS.
This was understandable, right?
No, everything you've done, I understood it, but I'm just being a little bit curious in this line because you have not assigned HS to happiness score before. So
yes, that is exactly why I will have just stopped here and proceed. But I know that you might come across somebody doing these things and then everything will just look so. That's why I have to keep it in that this is also possible. SQL factors it out. He knows what you are saying. It's just for you to understand the logic where you want to reduce the volume of your code. Because what I'm trying to avoid, I discovered that writing this happiness is a very long word. So that's just the purpose. I just want to help myself that, okay, since SQL understand that
since SQL understand that if I bring in this HS, it represents this, then there's no point of me each time I want to write this. Like here now, I will have written the whole of this in full. So it just like a technique that you use to help yourself to reduce the volume of your code. So that is the language ability for you. So you should be able to get it. It's what it has been built to recognize based on the syntax. Once you see the syntax, it will be able to decode it on its own. I hope that is clear, sir.
Yeah. Clear,
Okay.
clear.
So now we want to look at the very last aspect, which is where
So run it now. Let's see. You didn't run it.
I've run it. So this is it now. Okay.
Okay.
Let me run it again. Let me highlight. This is the results. Run it.
Okay.
The
All
same
right.
result that we got here. The same thing. So now we want to look at, see what we are joining since we are not concerned with the positioning of the joining. So for that reason, I've not used the last keywords that are involved when you are joining data. We did not specify whether the country is to be joined to the left-hand side or to the right-hand side. We have not. We have only used what? Inner. So despite that the inner join your data, you can also influence the location or the positioning, whether it should join based on the condition you are defining, like the on based on the country. Now you can say, okay, that country, like here, and I can say, okay, join the country, but the country should display by my right hand side. Join the country, join based on the country, but the country should display on my left hand side. All right. So these are some other keywords that I want to, and this will bring us to the end of it. So like I said, any part that you feel that I'm not able to cover, I want to believe you add research. If there's any other area you want to look at it from, you will be able to. But I feel that I've touched the most regular use advanced keyword in SQL. So I want to look at, let me write it. So we are looking at basic join types. Basic join types, and the ones we'll be focusing on, remember that we have been using inner already, is part of it. And then we have left, we have right, then we have a full outer. Correct. So I'll just explain I will just define them. You can go through the video and write. I don't want to start writing. So I want to start with the inner. The inner return record that exists in both tables. We have already established that the inner return record that exists in both tables and excludes unmatched record from either table. That is what we learned from what we have done so far. And I remember when you were trying to explain your previous experience, you are aligned with that definition, that it return common what rows from both what table. So that is what the inner does. Now let's define the lefts. The left return all record from the left table and any matching record from the right table. Let me repeat it again. The lefts return all record from the left table and any matching record from the left table, from the right table rather, sorry, from the right table. Now, the right is like the opposite. The right returns all record from the right table and any matching record from the left table. Then the full outer return all record from both tables including non-matching what? Record. Return all record from both tables, including what? Non-matching record. So this is where probably that question that you asked, that you were trying to like, how can they be achieved if you are using the inner join? So here you are going to probably rectify that with what? Full outer. So now that we understand this, a kind of advice here, because depending on, remember when we started, I said there are different platforms where you can actually run SQL query statements. I mentioned my SQL, I mentioned SQL Server, I mentioned my Microsoft Studio Management. There are a whole lot of them. And I said we have just 5% of some of the differences. There are some code, there are some scripts that you run. Most of this that we are running that will not work on another platform, which means that that platform will have its own way, its own keywords of doing that same thing this platform is doing. But once you have been trained like this, you are using another platform, because all the query statements, I constructed them to align with the framework I'm using, which is what? Workbench. So peradventure, you go to another framework and you are running this code and you are getting error. It's very simple. Just add research to it. Call the name of that particular framework and ask the corresponding. Maybe you are using a particular keyword, but it's not working. So you ask that, what is the equivalent this keyword in that version you are using? So you just need to ask a few questions, you'll be able to navigate through. But 80% works across, like I said. Okay, so just a little warning that while inner and left join are supported in RODBMS, I'm just giving this as an example, as can I say, a kind of let's say, just for you to be aware. While inner and left are supported in RODBMS, right and full outer are not. So we will not be able to, based on this platform, we may not be able to apply those two, because this one is RODBMS development environment. For example, SQLite does not support right join. And my SQL and SQLite do not support full outer joins. So you get this clear. Now, let's quickly look at the application of this, the left and the right. So which means that we'll be able to do left and right, but we will not be able to do the outer based on the platform we are using. So to apply, let's look at this same data that we are looking at, this that we just outputted, where we have removed the other country. So if I'm to use, I think let me bring back the one where we have the two country, so that to make more sense. Yeah, let me bring back this. See. All right, so let me use this. Let me use this. Use this. But before, I wanted to explain something. Let me see, which might be important for you to know. I just feel that it would be important for you to know before we look at that joining. Left, all right. So let's assume that you are given a data set and you want to select null values in both tables. Remember that we talk about that. We want to select empty rows. We want to check whether there are some empty rows in the two data. So I just want you, so that there's a keyword I want you to understand here, so that we can move to the last part of it. So let's say, let's say we want to use the where clause because it's condition. The where clause to check null rows for HS, because you know HS is now the happiness table. So we want to check it one after the other. We check for each of the table. So the syntax is going to be select. Just want you to understand this. Because so remember, build HS dot, we are still picking the year. We'll see if I can copy one of them. Okay, let's stay right so that we can get used to it. I think I can copy. Let me see if there's a place where I have. Let's just write so we can get used to it more. Command HS dot country. Command HS dot happiness underscore score. Remember, I told you this one is a header. Then on the other table, we are going to what? To CS. We are calling the country as well. Comma CS dot continents. From happiness underscore HS inner join. Sorry. Inner join country underscore stats CS. Then on HS dot country, that is the condition of joining, goes to CS dot country as well. Now this is where we are bringing the where clause, because we just want to select what? The empty rows. So we say where HS, because we are checking for the HS first table, dot country is null. So this is the keyword I want to bring to our notice. So I believe under data cleaning to be helpful to you to check. So if I run this code now, it's going to output that what? There is no empty row in that table. So if I change it to where CS, I want to also check there is no what? Empty what? Table. So that is just what I want you to understand before we look at how to join lefts. I hope that is clear, sir. I just want you to understand that. I hope you understand it, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm trying as much to make sure that I want to assume that you know nothing on this. So I don't miss something, because I just want to take it full the way I take it. So now let's just look at, so now using, I'm focusing on the first keyword, which is left join now. Let's look at the left join, the ones that are possible with the framework we are using. So here we want to join using the same data. Let me bring back this one. Where is it set? From this. Okay, so using this data, you want to join lefts. You want to join lefts. Okay, I thought I've written them before. Join lefts. So the syntax will be, so right, so that we can get used to it. I'll close this. So select, we are using the same HS dot year, comma, HS dot country, comma, HS is happiness underscore score, CS plus country, comma,
No, sir.
CS. Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could just do one where, you know, at this from the beginning we are not specifying the columns we want to see. Do you understand what I mean, sir?
You want to call everything now.
Yeah, let's call everything, without specifying
We have done that
the
now. We have done that from the beginning now. We have done that from the beginning. Have we forgotten? That is the one we did first before I started saying, okay, let's say if you want to pick some country, we want to pick some headers. We have done that.
yeah,
Just that we want to repeat it. I don't, just that you are saying we should repeat. We have done that because that is the one we did first, where we got
yeah.
all the
Why?
headers from all the tables.
Yes, yes. I understand. Now, my question, why I said if we can just do only that is this. Which table we are sort of like doing a selection from two tables now, right?
Yeah, that is
So which table is my left table? Which table is my right table?
okay. Let me finish writing the code. I think
Okay.
that question does not require us going back there again. It's something we can explain here. Let me come. So let's join. Country underscore stats on mission for the journey, country is equals to CS dot country. Okay, so now to answer that question, you can see that this is where you define the table, that will be your lefts. Come in, let me just confirm if my code is executable first. Okay, so now here, this is where, if you take now this particular table is the table for the country states, which is your lefts. So if I put the happiness table here now, it means that I'm saying that what the based on the joining criteria, the country from the happiness table will be by the lefts. If I, like we put this one now, we are saying that the country from the country underscore stats is the one that will be by the lefts. That is what we are simply saying here. I don't know if I've answered your question with this code.
Not really. I want to, yeah, because of course the data, or rather the entries in the table, will not just fly across. The table is what is holding the content. Okay, so where I'm get a bit confused at this point is, how do I know the right table? How do I know the left table? Because of course, all these contents are in a table.
Yes,
So I want to
they
know
are the same, and they are
which one. Yes. So which one? Because if I'm right, for instance, now if I am doing um left join, so left join will take all the data in the left table,
yes,
join it with the common data in
that
the
is
right
specified,
table.
which is the condition, but as the yes,
Yes.
because you are
So
correct.
so so now my confusion is so that I want to that is just my major this thing. All this thing, I understand them very well. So which one of them is it the first table I quote is the left table? The one I'm joining it is the right table. So
That is
I just need
now
a clarification.
okay. Now, if you look at this now, let me explain from here. From happiness, which is, let's say, from happiness underscore. I think here I made a mistake. Let's see. Okay, so now here from happiness underscore, which means that you are talking about what? The table. Now left join country, This is the second table, right?
Correct.
Left join country. Now let's take it this way. The left and the right. If you want, let's say I want you to join me. Which means that I will take my position first. So if from the way this data is arranged now, the happiness country is this. The happiness country is this. Now, if the other table is coming to join this, join left, it means that that other table country is this. Then if I put happiness table here, if I select happiness table here, that's from this. Sorry, if I put this particular table now, if I put this one here, and then under left join, then I'm now bringing this one based on the common header, then it will now switch. That is what we are saying. But let me see if I can explain it better with I have additional code I want to execute. Let me see if I can explain it better. But that is just the logic. Let me see. Let me copy this code and put right. We've already seen the format of this. Maybe from the display differences, we'll be able to understand it better. Join right. So if I change this to right, change it to right, so that we can see the disorganization. Let me put the where. I think the where will give us a clear picture when we start having, because there's a way you will join it. You will have empty row, and that will tell you the position. But let me just say where HS country. It's not. So you can see, because the best way you can get the picture, let me comment this out first. Just want us to, because the challenge you are facing is understandable, but let me try to use scenario that you, because why you are having this issue now, like you said now, because we are having the same label, the same label, the same record, the same record. So it is difficult for you to know whether this one is for the other table or this. I believe that is where the confusion is, right? Because I believe there are different information under this header. By the time you switch this one, you will understand it. But now let's go to,
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. You know what I'm not particular about this data set. What
okay.
I'm saying, what I am particular is, okay, I know that, okay, I want to do left join.
You know
Okay.
what?
So I know that, okay, this is the table that will come first.
Oh,
Do you understand? So
okay.
this table is the left table. Then this other table is the right table. Do you understand? That is
Okay.
just my. So
Okay.
I just want to know which one of them is it the table I quote first is the left table.
I've already explained that. Now, if that is the case, the one you put, like if I bring it down, I'm trying to see if I can take us back to where we selected the comment. I want to see something. I want to think this way, answer. So when we did select, I think I understand what you're saying. We did happiness underscore source, and then we now do right join country, right join country underscore stuff. Then just to specify the condition, this dot country is equals to country which would start dot country. Now, this is what we are saying now. Now, this is where I'm calling the entire data. Right? This is where I'm calling the entire data.
Yeah.
Now, that is why I brought that no, that where in the other place where we have selected so that you can see, because when you are seeing the no, that is where you understand. Now, this is right. Let's take note of the data. This is the year. This is the country. This is the region. This is which I can return this. Something I want to do here. Let me call out the two tables. Let's observe them first, the two tables. That's what I wanted to do that first time so that we can differentiate it. We will do select from, select from, select from happiness underscore scores. Let's look at this first. We have year, we have country, we have region, we have happiness score, we have, okay, so we have this as the last column here. Now, let me select, let's copy. Then here, I'll put country underscore stats. So continent, population. Okay, so now what I want us to take note, the last header in that other data and the last header in this data, so that we know when we do writes, we know which data, which table is coming first and which one is following. Now that we have an idea of the last column, I just want to use those last column to mark the beginning and the end of one table. So let me go and copy that code that we ran now and re-execute it. I think it's from here. Okay. So now remember that for the other happiness table, the header stops what? Here. The header stops here. Now, this is where the other table starts from. And if you go around now, you see what? This is the last header. Now, and this is right join. Now, let's look at the code. Now, I believe this will answer the question. You say from happiness score, right join this. Now, that is what I was trying to explain to you. Because from these statements here, it shows that the first one that will take its position by the left now is the first table you mentioned. The one that is coming will be what? The right. Now, if I change here now, we have already noticed what we got there. And I run this code now again. I think it just comes. Okay. So you can see it has switched. It has switched. So now, when we use lefts, when we use right, rather, we have the happiness table first. And when we change it to left, then that happiness table that was by your left has now gone to what? To the right. I believe this practical has explained what the challenge you are having, sir. Is it clear now?
Okay, it's okay.
Or is not still clear?
Because I don't,
I know
if I
it's
don't
logical.
know, no, if I don't know what I want, what I simply want to understand is because I don't need to run the table before I know the one that is the left table or right table. So
Right.
just what I wanted to know is, okay, the first table is always this first table is always the left table.
The left table, yes.
Because
By default now.
once I know the left, I know
Yes.
the next one is
You'll be
right.
right. Good. That's it.
So I don't need to run all these things before I know, okay, this one is left or right.
Yeah.
I just need a foundation to say,
Okay.
okay, the first table
Mm.
is the left table. So of
Yes.
course I already know the
Where
left
you are
table. So that
joining,
means
where
the
you are
next,
joining.
yes. So I know that, okay, the next table is right. So that's just it. It's
Okay.
okay, I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So so like I said, this is where we stop because this platform cannot execute the last one, which is the full outer. Remember the note I gave you. So if you get a platform that can execute it, fine. Remember that one will return what? On March. Why this one will only return what? March. That is just the difference. That is just the difference. So if there's no other question, it means that I think I have done justice to your request on this advanced SQL. Any question?
Yeah. There's no question. There are no questions.
All right. So the next meeting will be looking at starting a Power BI. So, but
Okay. Okay. If this is the end of this thing, probably let me not. You have your time. This thing.
Yeah.
If you have any video where you have treated subquery, if I can have a link to it, I can go through it. Then if I have question, I ask. Then there was one last one you said you were going to show me how to work direct from website. So if you only have the video,
yes.
so let me have it. I'll look at it. Then if I have question, I will ask.
All right. So I will definitely go through the
Yeah,
video and check where I've treated that in the past.
on some query and working
direct
from
website.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I will do that if not for the time. Just that if it actually escaped my memory that I made up from it. But what I'm going to do is the one of working from websites is not actually difficult. Maybe just remind me when we want to start the Power BI, I can quickly take the first 10 minutes to take you there. It's not something that will take time. It's the same code you'll be writing, but just for you to know the process. You just make sure you remind me before I go into a Power BI, you just settle that. I'll now look for the video of the subquery and send to you. But for that one, it's something I can settle before we commence the Power BI.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Then again, sorry, sir. So that we, especially on the Power BI, so that we'll be on the same table.
Same thing.
If you can send me data that we'll be using, so that we can move fast. And I'm available for next week, if it's early morning or
late evening.
evening. Yeah. So